Shalom, this is Levi Shore. Welcome back to Sweet and Good Torah. So we've begun 5780, and it's a year of such incredible potential. We see the signposts that we've been given by their Gedolim beginning to light up, showing us signs of possibly the coming of Mashiach, the potential of the coming of Mashiach in the year 5780. And let's see what we have to do heading into this amazing Yom Kippur. It's Erev Yom Kippur. I'm wearing the kittel. On Yom Kippur, we don't have to eat. We don't have to drink. We are like the malachim. We are like the angels. We're on a higher level of ruchnius. It's amazing potential this year. So let's jump right in and see what's going on. All right, so I think it was about 2014, Rabbi Moshe Sternbuch, who I think is possibly a descendant of the Vilna Gaon. I'm not exactly sure. I think he is a high-ranking member of the Edis Haredis. He's a great Talmid Chacham. And in Yerushalayim, I think in 2014 on Purim, he said this amazing thing that it was a Masorah passed down from the Vilna Gaon. It was a sod. Some of you have probably heard already, but it's amazing what we're seeing with Turkey right there, right on the border of Syria. So let's go back and refresh our memories. So he said during Purim, he said that even though I trust that I should not reveal secrets, even though he knows secrets of the Torah, the sodos of the Torah, Rabbi Sternbuch says that it's not really the way to reveal them. He says, nevertheless, I have to. I'm required to reveal this one secret because it's already been revealed by Rabbi Yitzhak Haber, I think, and he was a student of Rabbi Chaim Volozhin, who was a student of the Vilna Gaon. And if you don't know who the Vilna Gaon was, he was born, I think, in 1720. And he was nifter in 1797, and he was one of our greatest Talmid Chachams. He was one of our greatest Torah scholars. He spent every moment poring over the Torah, loving learning Torah, teaching the Torah. He was incredible. He was a Gaon, a genius. He was one of the greatest Talmidei Hachamim. And his Hebrew name was Rabbi Eliyahu ben Shlomo Zalman. And this was a tradition that he passed along to his students, and finally was passed along to Rabbi Sternbuch that revealed it, I think, on Purim of 2014. And he says that he heard it one man from the mouth of another, until it came from the Gra, came from the Vilna Gaon. And he says that we will reveal this, he says he's going to reveal this secret. Reveal the secret, I think the Vilna Gaon left instructions, reveal this secret close to when it would come out, when it would be revealed in the world, then you can reveal the secret. So he said it back in 2014. He said, when you hear that Russia conquers Crimea, that sound familiar? Because that happened back in the Obama administration. When you hear that, then you should know that it's the beginning of the Pamei HaGeula, of the times of the Geula. And I think Rabbi Sternbuch goes later in this drasha, he says, that Pameh, not only is it times, it's the Pamon, it's the ringing of a bell, it's a bell, it's the ringing of the bell, you begin to hear the sound louder and louder and louder. Drori Kra, freedom we cry in the Yovel. And then you'll hear, when you hear that Russia reaches Constantinople, which is now modern day Istanbul in Turkey, when you hear that, then you should already be dressed in your big day Shabbos, in your Shabbos clothes. Do not take them off. Do not strip them off. Because since that all the moments, any moment now, that Mashiach, he's prepared to come. So signposts are beginning to light up. We saw recently, I did a video recently in Yeshiva World News. There was a sefer of Rav Yitzhak Kaduri when he was younger, and he said that on this Rosh Hashanah that we just had, he says, in Shemayim there's a court case open, and in the based in Lamaila, the heavenly court, there's a case open between the Sitra Achra, the other side, and the Sitra Kedusha, the side of holiness. And they are fighting for control of the Jewish people, fighting for control of the world. And Turkey right now is on the verge of coming in and fighting the Kurds in Syria. And now we have Syria in a complete split civil war for years, so many years now, so much destruction, it's horrible. We have Russia in there, Russia in Syria, right on the doorstep of Israel. We have Iran, Persia, right on the doorstep in Syria. And now Turkey may enter the fray. And President Trump, he moved the American troops away from the northern part of Turkey, allowing this. So I don't know what America's involvement in all this is, but it seems right now just pulling away. And Syria is incredible because the very first world war during the days of Abraham Avinu, Abraham, in his days there was the great war of the 5 kings against the 4 kings, and it happened right outside Damascus. The first world war happened right in Syria, and it seems like the world's forces are colliding in Syria right now, and Turkey has the chance. I mean, Turkey, I think a couple years ago shot down a Russian fighter plane, so there's already tension between Turkey and Russia, and it's getting easier to see how this could turn into, eventually a Russian invasion of Turkey. I mean, as crazy as that sounds. We see Hezbollah, we see Hamas threatening to invade Israel. We see Iran threatening to invade Israel. We see tension between America and Iran. It's the world is boiling. We see countries split in half. Now, the world is created on a system of 10 sephiros. And when the world is balanced, so you have a balance of 3. So you have, for instance, you have chesed, kindness, balanced against gevura, the strength of self-restraint, self-control. And when you have that balance, you get tiferes. Right in the middle, you get the balance of beauty, of emes, of truth. You have the balance of netzach, of domination and victory and war. The netzach, eternity, foreverness, netzach. You balance that against hod, against empathy, concern for others. And when you balance that, you get yesod. You get control, foundation of the physical world. You get control and balance of the physical world. You're not too aggressive with people. You're not too passive with people. You have that perfect balance, and you feel that yesod. And that in yesod is the ability of life, of creation. It's when the Abba and the Ima and the husband and the wife come together and a child can be born. And you have this potential when you have a split of the 10 sephiros, when you have a thing called the 5 chasidim, the 5 kindnesses and compassion, or on the right-hand side, they split. The 5 split, just like this, the 5 sephiros of your hand, it splits. And then it's going to be backwards, but then the left, and you have, on the left, you have the 5 gevuros, the 5 strengths, judgment. So you have the judgment against the chesed, and the world is split. And in this split of right and left, there's the potential in the middle for creation. In the middle, something new can be born. This could be the year of Mashiach. And we see the world perfectly split between right and left. We see America completely fractured between the right and the left. The left wants to remove President Trump from the moment he was elected. The right wants to see the exposure, the declassification of the surveillance done on Trump when he was a candidate and a president. We have this massive tension and split. We see it in countries all around the world, this tension. The countries are completely split. And Israel, split between the right and the left, the perfect split. They've had 2 elections already, and they may be headed for a 3rd. We see this great potential in the world. We see the split of the right and the left. The 5 chasidim against the 5 gevuras, and in it is the great potential. And maybe 5780 is the potential of Mashiach. Let's read further. Baraisa in Masechta Sota. What are the conditions before the coming of Mashiach? Let's see what it says here. It says, and this is from Rabbi Eliezer Agadol, Rabbi Eliezer the Great. And he says, the ikvos Mashiach chutzpah yiske. In the footsteps of Mashiach, chutzpah, insolence, bold, crazy insolence, chutzpah. It's going to soar, it's going to increase. Vayoker yamir, inflation will soar. We see the price of everything year after year goes up, Every decade, the price of everything goes up and up and up. Hagefen titain pirya v'hayayin beyoker. The vine will give fruit, but wine will be expensive. We see people paying thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars for bottles of wine, the Rothschild wine, the Haut Brion, the Pernod. I forgot all the great, the Bordeaux's of France, but people pay incredible amounts of money for these wines. The Hamalchus tehafech laminos, and the government, the kingdom will turn to heresy, against the Torah, against morality. It will embrace any ideology against emes, against truth, against goodness, against kindness. And we see, unfortunately, governments of the world, and they're turning to this. The aim tochecha, no one will rebuke them. We see corruption on unimaginable scales in government, and no one rebukes them. The Beis Va'ad Yihel is noose, sad. Study halls used for illicit relationships. And unfortunately, we see all these abandoned synagogues after the destruction of Europe, and who knows what some of these places are used for. Some of them are turned into museums instead of great buildings of holiness where tefillah, prayers, and great Torah learning. They're just museums, and even worse in some of the places. V'hagalil yecharav, and this is the scariest one because I don't know if this has happened yet, that the north of Israel, the Galil, the Galilee region will be destroyed, and we see Iran and Hezbollah threatening to invade the north of Israel. Chas v'sham, and hopefully we can avoid this with tefillah and teshuvah. V'hagavlan yishom, and the Gavlan, the border, the Gevul, the border, and I think this was referring to the Golan region. It will be desolate. The Anshe Gevul Yesovavu me'ir le'ir v'lo yechonanu. And these people of Chas v'sham, if the Golan and the Galil is attacked, and we saw the disengagement from Gaza, and they just wander from city to city, and no one has mercy on them. We saw that when the government, the Israeli government, kicked all the Jewish people out of Gaza, and they lost their homes, and people had little mercy on them. V'chakmas sofrim tisrak, and we see our great Gedolim, the wise men, the wisdom's being lost. We see all our great Gedolim, their nifter. V'yirei chet yimei asu, and those who fear sin, those who fear Avera, they're despised. They're not glorified as they should. The great men and women of the world that don't want to do an Avera, that love Torah and mitzvahs, love Hashem, they're despised for it. The Haredim, look how the Haredim are despised in Israel for what? For loving the Torah, for loving Hashem, for loving the mitzvahs, and they're despised. The Ha'emestiyeh nidderes, and the truth, it is hidden. It wanders off like flocks of sheep. The truth is hidden. The media distorts. They only want to push a narrative. They don't care what's really going on. The truth is hidden. Na'arim panei zekanim yalbinu, and the young, they whiten the faces of the elders. I mean, we see like the young, the chutzpah of the young. We see these new congressmen, freshman congresswomen in the U.S. Congress, Ocasio-Cortez and Omar and Rashid Tlaib, and they have no respect for Nancy Pelosi, who has spent a career in Congress. And they demand that they run the agenda. The young just stand up against and embarrass the elders. And Zakanim Yamdu Mifnei Katanim. And the elders stand up and just let them. They stand up for the young. The elders, the wise elders, they stand up for the young. Oh, what do the young want? We saw that Greta Thunberg, this Swedish girl, 15-year-old Swedish girl in front of the UN. Oh, tell us, how should we run our world, young girl, And where are the older, wise people? Ben menaber av, a son shames the father. The bas kama bi'ima, the daughter rises up against the mom. Kala, the kamosa, the bride against her mother-in-law. Oy ve ish anshe veso. It's from Micha, the Nevuah, the prophecy of Micha. It says the enemies of a man are the people of his house. Chas v'sham, we see so much divorce. It's horrible. So much fighting, dysfunctional families, fighting families instead of the source of love and connection, fighting with each other, tearing each other apart. It's horrible, the fighting in the families. Penei hador kifnei hakelev, and the face of the generation is like the face of a dog, and a dog walks in front of its master. I'm sorry, I can't remember who said this, but the dog walks in front of his master, and he looks like he's leading the master, and the master is holding the dog on the leash. But the dog's always looking back to see what does the master really want. And we see the politicians that are the so-called leaders, but they're always looking back at the polls. What do the people want? We'll do whatever the people want. What's popular? What do the polls say? They have no ideas of leadership themselves. It's the Pnei Hador Kifnei Hakelev. Habein Eno Mispa Yesh Me'aviv. The son is not ashamed from the father. And not only is the son here not ashamed of his father, but we, the son, we, the children, are not ashamed before our father. And who is our father? Avinu Malkeinu, our father, our king. V'al mi yesh lanu lehishayin, and upon who can we rely on? Al Avinu Sheba Shamayim, only upon our Father in Shamayim, only upon Hashem our God. As we head into this Yom Kippur, we know that in Avera, that Hashem will forgive us. Hashem is an amazing period of the 13 midos of rachamim and compassion, the 13 qualities that Hashem has of judging us with the ultimate in compassion. And Yom Kippur is, for us, it's the day that we got back the luchos, the 10 tablets. By the way, they were rectangular fire tablets, not this ugly stone. I don't know where the curve came from at the top, but they were these beautiful, miraculous sapphire tablets that had the 10 Commandments on them. And this is we see the second one. After Moshe had to break the first, we were forgiven, and we were given the Torah again. We were given the 10 Commandments again on these beautiful sapphire tablets. At the time, the ultimate kapara of forgiveness. And Hashem is there. The king is in the field. These 10 days of Teshuvah, the Esher Yemei Teshuvah, these 10 days we complete ourselves. We rebuild ourselves in these 10 days anew. And we can rebuild the world anew for this 5780. The 4 steps of Teshuvah. Charata, we regret the averas that we've done. We have a zivas hate. We despise the avera we've done. We don't ever want to do that again. Vidoy, we confess, oh, I did this. I feel so bad about it. The vidoy we do on Yom Kippur. And then Kabbalah, and then we accept we never want to do this again. We want to change. We want to be new and greater people. We want a new and greater world. Are we sick of this corruption? And if you say, oh, Mashiach can't come right now. When? Then when? It's been so long, from the year 4000 until now, 5780. Mashiach could have come in 4000. How much longer do we need to wait? Why not now? Let's do Teshuvah now for this Yom Kippur. Let's see the coming Mashiach. Are people sick yet of all the corruption and these leaders, the Kelev, the dog, these leaders that just look back at what the Poles want to do? No. A good leader, kindness. Let's do Teshuvah. And the great thing is forgiving each other, because Hashem will not forgive what we did to someone else. If we want kapara for something we did to someone, Hashem will forgive what we did to him. The Averas Chas Shalom against the Torah. But if we did something to someone else, if we said something bad to someone, if we did something bad to someone, let's ask him for forgiveness. Let's get it off our chest. Let's lighten ourselves of that marirus, of the bitterness, of the kas, of the anger. Let's become one nation again. When we stood at Har Sinai, we were Ish Echad, Lev Echad, one man, one heart. We are all united in front of Hashem when we receive the Torah. Let's do it. 5780, great potential. We're split between the 5 Hasidim and the 5 Gevuros. Let's bring it all together. Let's get Mashiach. May you all have a Gemar Chasima Tova. May be sealed in the book of life. And we'll see you again soon on Sweet and Good Torah.